For creating an identity and access management role, we have to scroll down to Security and Compliance and select IAM. Under IAM, we can select Roles. Clicking Create Role, we can look at the different options. We can create a role that's going to work with a particular service. We could create a role that allows you to link another account to your account for accessing resources. You can create a role that is going to interface with Cognito, which is useful for creating authentication for web-based apps. Or you can create a role for single sign-on authentication from Active Directory. We're going to pick the AWS service and EC2. We want EC2 instances to be able to call a particular AWS service on our behalf. We've got a database server or a web server that needs access to data records stored, say, in S3 or maybe DynamoDB. Clicking EC2, we can click Next and choose the permissions for our role. If I look at S3, I can see that there's a number of options for connecting to S3. Let's pick S3 Full Access. Next, click Tags. We could add in up to 50 tags for most services. Let's say this is a role for S3 Access, and it's for the business department. Clicking Next, what we've defined is that we are going to use a particular policy providing S3 full access. All we have to do is add in the name. Adding in S3 access and clicking Create Role creates the role. Notice it at the bottom. If we highlight and select S3, we can actually take a look at the actual policy. We can see that it is the policy that allows full access, and we can actually take a look at who's used the policy or if there's any policy versions, which there isn't right now. All right, how are we going to use this role is we have to add the role to an EC2 instance as it's being installed or after it's been installed. Let's look at both options. Up to Services, selecting EC2 and selecting Instances, we can highlight one of the web servers in this account, right-click, and say Instance Settings, Add Replace Role. From the IAM role listing, select S3 Access. Click Apply, and we're done. That web server now has access, full access, to the S3 bucket. We could also launch a new instance, select an image, select a size of instance, and under Configuration Details, once we choose where we want to place this actual instance, we could also scroll down and choose the role that this instance will use to access S3 storage. Continuing on the installation, this role would be added to the installation and we would be all set. So 2 ways of adding roles, either to an existing EC2 instance or adding it to the installation procedure when we're installing additional EC2 instances in our AWS account.